Hello and welcome back. I'm Carly from Soundsight Studios. In this video, we're doing something totally new. Let's draw a card for every zodiac sign so they can have a theme for 2024. Now, many of you know that I don't integrate astrology in my practice. That's because my work is based in coaching and psychology, not mysticism and the occult. However, many people do identify with their zodiac sign, so it's a great way to make sure everyone is included in this style of a spread. And this way, everyone gets a bit of advice for 2024. So let's find out what your card is for the year ahead. Let's go. Let's take a deep breath to center. Mentally, we'll set the intention that we may see things as they are and not as we want them to be. And we're going to start off with Capricorn. Capricorn, your theme is the Knight of Cups. This year, I want you to be an optimist. Allow yourself to be a hopeless romantic. Imagine what's the best thing that could happen. This might be a year to visualize what could happen for you. It's only through setting that bar so high that you're going to get anywhere close to it. So let yourself daydream. Let your imagination run wild. Let your heart do the leading. Know and feel what it is that you want, even if it doesn't exist yet. Be that dreamer. Fall in love with those ideas. I have a feeling that when you have that strong visualization of what it is that you want, you can find a way to go after it and achieve it. And so maybe this is the year of generating that vision. So that's your card for Capricorn, the Knight of Cups. Be optimistic, focus on visualization, and let yourself fall in love with what it is you want. Next up, Aquarius. Your card for the year is the Hermit. Now remember, the Hermit does not mean today what it meant back in the early 1900s or 1800s when this card was created. The Hermit is an encouragement for you to really go your own way. Don't be held back by what people around you are doing or are not doing. Rather, blaze your own trail. This is the year for you to be a fierce individual. Don't look back. Don't doubt yourself. Trust that you can guide your own way. And the path that you blaze is going to be open for people to follow in your footsteps. So think of yourself as a leader. People maybe just haven't found you yet. Go do your thing and be proud of how you're doing it differently than anyone else. So, the card for our lovely Aquariuses this year is the Hermit. Be fiercely individual. Follow your own light and seek the answers to questions only you have thought to ask. I think you'll have fun with that. Next up, Pisces. Pisces, your theme for the year is the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is a card about being content with what you have and not constantly striving for more. What I'll also add here is that sometimes the Nine of Cups is an encouragement to acknowledge what you're not happy with. It doesn't mean you have to act on it, but it can help you understand what you want to change or where you want to push a comfort zone. So this year, I would encourage you to start by being grateful for what you have, appreciating it, honoring it, and remembering the best things in life are usually priceless. They're your relationships, the skills you've gained, the education you have, the quality of the people around you. Appreciate that. Appreciate the really good ones. And then don't be afraid to acknowledge what is not pleasing you, what is not quite fitting into your vision for yourself. You don't have to act on it yet, but it helps you identify what you might want to change. So, for our Pisces out there, start the year with gratitude appreciation, and honoring what you've already created. That's number one. Number two, let yourself identify what you're not happy with. And then number three, consider what changes could help you. Maybe next year is the time for those really big changes. This first year is simply the time for observation. I hope that's helpful. All right, let's now talk about Aries. Aries, your card for the year is the Seven of Cups. This character in the card is looking at all of the options in front of them. They don't know what to choose. Maybe this is a year where it's better to brainstorm than to be critical. Open your mind up to new ideas. Let other people feed in. Brainstorming requires more than one brain at one time. And so ask other people for their opinions. Let others encourage you to take new paths, consider new ideas. Don't be too quick to criticize an idea or cut off a possibility. Rather, pursue it and see where it leads. Trust that the right doors will open for you. What's meant for you can't be missed, and what's not for you can't be fixed. Know when to let go. And I think that with this type of awareness, you'll find some options that are really, really appropriate, that are well matched to what it is that you need, even if it's not something you knew you wanted. So, as a recap, Aries, this year, be open-minded. Consider new ideas and let other people offer suggestions for you to consider. Hold back critical thinking until you've done more research. Don't discount something before you've done some investigation. Something might be more possible than you can even imagine right now. Good luck with that. All right. Taurus. Your theme of the year is our card labeled Judgment. But don't worry, this is not a card about being judged. Your theme is about transitioning, forgiving yourself and releasing the past, and embracing what's next for you in your future. This card occurs right at the end of the 22 card cycle of the major arcana. And so it represents hitting a space of awareness, experiencing an epiphany, understanding what needs to change. With that said, this could be a year for you to really decide what you're done with and over, and what you want to embrace next. Judgment encourages you to do this by forgiving yourself for anything that you're not proud of in the past and releasing the old identity. Let the part of you that's ready to rise up stretch towards your highest self, towards your higher ideals. Serve that higher mission. Maybe you're starting to hear a calling. You understand that you want to be better tomorrow than you were today, and you're going to make a shift to just slightly raise that vibe and make a little change in the day that helps you feel a little better tomorrow. Over time this year, you could feel a huge change. And Judgment is an encouragement to release that past and to rise up to that next better version of you. I entirely know that you can do this. Do it for yourself. Do it for the people around you who can benefit from you being your best self. And do it for the plot line. Okay, so that is for our lovely Tauruses out there. Forgive yourself for the past. Listen to your higher calling and honor the purpose that you're feeling. And lastly, if you do it for no other reason, do it for the plot line. Go be a better person. Be the person you want to be. Next up, Gemini. All right, Gemini, your theme for this year is the Lovers. How nice for you. This card represents inspiration and passion. It doesn't represent being in a relationship. So if that's where your mind went, don't worry, no stress there. This is not what the card's referring to. But rather, this is the feeling of being in love. This is that excitement, that pep in your step, the wind beneath your wings. I would recommend that when you feel that inspiration this year, use it for all it's worth. Send that big email asking for a raise. Present this new idea. Apply for a new job. Ask somebody phenomenal out. Go ask somebody to be their mentor, get coffee with you. Let yourself take those bigger leaps and those bigger risks because you have that inspiration and because you're feeling passionate and on fire. Now remember, a lover's relationship has highs and lows. So you might feel things going up and down. You'll have the inspiration strongly for one weekend, one day, one morning, and then it'll drop. Get ready for it. Don't let it get you down. Just know that everything does ebb and flow. So use your inspiration to the best of your ability when you have it and be ready for it. So for our dear Geminis out there, your theme is the Lovers, which is an encouragement to use inspiration when you have it, acknowledging that it is temporary. So make the most of it and be prepared when it hits you. Jump into wherever it's trying to take you. Number 2, take some bigger risks. And number 3, don't be disheartened if you feel inspiration or passion disappear. The higher highs you have, the lower lows you'll experience. And I think it'll be worth it by the end of the year if you're taking advantage of those high highs and not letting yourself be self-destructive in the low lows. Be ready, be prepared, and take good care of yourself. Okay, this one goes out to all the Cancers out there. Your theme for the year is the Empress. The Empress is all about taking care of herself first. Because when she is feeling abundant and lush, that spreads out into the environment so she can take care of the people around her by creating spaces where individuals can thrive. My recommendation for you is take good care of the space you exist in so that it can love you back. Treat yourself to comfort, to luxury, good food that nourishes you. And when you are creating spaces for other people, make sure that you're not trying to do the work for them. Provide what they need, but you don't need to overfunction or overly concern yourself with what actions they're taking in the space. You don't have to do the work for them. The Empress is typically a very mothering type of a card. They're very nurturing. And so know where your line is, where you can maybe provide inspiration, provide care, provide access to resources or a bit of advice, but allow individuals around you to do the work themselves. This is going to help you stay seated on your throne in confidence and in power. It'll help you maintain the energy that you need to be well. And the people around you will be raising their vibration and their value to be worthy of being in your presence. They won't be draining you. They'll be learning how to generate their own energy to match you and appreciating what you offer them, even though it's not always hands-on support. Sometimes it's just giving them the space they need to do what's necessary. So, my advice for the Cancers out there this year, know what you can offer others and have some firm boundaries. Take devilishly good care of yourself. Allow yourself to feel abundant and bask in what you have. And lastly, create spaces where other people can thrive. If you create a space that you love for yourself and another person comes in and also loves it, you found an incredible match. And so find people that appreciate the places you create, because those are the people that will best connect to you and become a community. All right, let's look at Leo. For all my Leos out there this year, your card is the Ten of Swords. It's labeled everything is fine. And what I would recommend for you this year is to be honest when something's going on. If you're stressed, don't hold it in. This individual is overwhelmed. The swords represent a burden. The swords represent a sense of obligation. If you are feeling exhausted, If there's too much going on, too much on your shoulders, ask for help. Tell somebody no. Escape the situation. There is no need for you to be a martyr this year. There's no need for you to withhold honest opinions or to not speak your needs. Advocate for yourself. Speak up when you're feeling burnt out and stop these patterns from occurring. It might be that people think you're doing fine because you've been creating this sort of persona. Let it go. Let it go. There's nothing wrong with saying I need help or I can't do something. Release the pride, release the ego, and be honest with what your needs are. So for all my dear Leos out there, please this year, acknowledge when things have gone too far. Be willing to ask for help. Find your outlets when you're feeling stressed. Put these things together to prevent burnout, a sense of overwhelm, and exhaustion this year, because you deserve to live a life full of energy, joy, and love. All right, let's look at our Virgos. So this one goes out to all the Virgos out there. Look at this. It's another 10 of Swords. Ooh. This one is not labeled everything is fine, but these are the two. This is the only duplicate in the deck. There's two of these cards. And so I'm going to give you the same advice that we had for Leo, which is set your pride to the side. Tell somebody when you need help. Don't play martyr, and don't take on more than you can handle. Make sure that you're recognizing any signals of burnout before you officially collapse. If you can, lighten your load. And give yourself a little more time this year to be gentle and compassionate with what it is that you need and be able to acknowledge where your boundaries are. So for my darling Virgos out there, please be nice to yourself this year. Tell other people when you need help. Recognize signs of burnout early so that it doesn't get to the point of exhaustion and collapse. All right, moving over to Libra. Libra. This year, your card is Death, a famous and dramatic card representing transformation and a personal shift. The best way to think of this in the modern world is as an ego death. I think you're ready for an identity shift. Maybe you've been humbled in this last year. Maybe you've recognized that patterns that served you well in the past are no longer meeting your needs. And so you can let go of those old patterns, old habits, old behaviors, maybe even an old perspective, an identity. A new part of you is ready to emerge. This is a little bit different than our Judgment card that the Taurus has had, because the Death card is about allowing a crack to let the light in. It's letting yourself be uncomfortable as you recognize what new part of yourself wants to arise. But this is kind of a process of grief and of shifting out of the old self, where you are saying goodbye to something, and it's usually an uncomfortable thing that's causing you to release this. It's recognizing what hasn't been working and finally saying, I need to let that go. So take the time you need to this year. To recap for Libras, take the time you need to acknowledge what has not been working. Grieve and let go. Recognize that there's always a new part of you that's willing and ready to emerge. So no matter what you release, something new will come in and take its place, and it will probably be better than what you're letting go of. Lastly, remember that this is a temporary and uncomfortable experience. This too shall pass. Make the most of it, be in the middle of it, and do the work now so you can enjoy the reward later. For our Scorpios, the Two of Pentacles is an encouragement to multitask this year. Keep yourself balanced between multiple projects. Maybe this isn't the time to commit fully to just one thing. Instead, Let yourself juggle different priorities, different interests. I once had a business mentor tell me that strong businesses are like a three-legged chair, not a one-legged stool. The three legs can make us more sturdy. In this case, the character is juggling. And so I would say, make sure that you're keeping many balls in the air. You have different things to put your focus on. It might actually create more balance and more security for you to have that variety than if you tried to just make one thing work or just rely on one thing. So a little bit of advice for our Scorpios. Stay busy, multitask, let different priorities come into your realm, and be interested in different hobbies. Keep everything moving and trust that you can keep all of this going on. Don't commit to just one thing. Stay open to new possibilities coming your way and engage with them as you see fit. And our last card for the year is Sagittarius. How appropriate, it's the world. For all the Sagittariuses out there, the world is an encouragement to make some final decisions this year. Truly wrap things up. If you've gone through a transition process, if you've made some changes, this is a reminder to really find closure. You're not going backwards. No steps backwards. Let your decisions now be final and let them be thoroughly completed. Wrap up every last loose end. Feel a sense of pride in how far you've come and look ahead to the new shores in front of you. So, for all of our Sagittarius, let things end and let them end with peace and a sense of closure. Take your time to wrap things up nicely and look ahead to the new shores, because I think a new adventure is waiting for you, maybe in the next year. But this could be a good year to clean things up, whether it's in your house, in relationships, in your habits, your personal life, in your behaviors. Just start wrapping things up. If you're getting that sense that you're ready for something new, this is going to help you get there. There you have it, your 12 signs and a theme from the tarot for each one in 2024. Leave a comment below with your sign and something you're working on this year. Please like and subscribe, and make sure to follow me on my socials to stay in touch. And I'll see you next time. Happy reading.